Welcome back to 504 Road Trips. Today we're doing something a little different that we hope you're going to enjoy.
Recently, we had the chance to meet Roadwaywiz as he was down in New Orleans, and we are honored to have him as a guest host today.
As a civil engineer, I've had a lifelong fascination with bridges, in particular the bridges that cross the Mississippi River within the state of Louisiana. In this video, we're going to drive the 8 bridges that cross the Great River within the Bayou State and cover the historical information and facts for each crossing. The newest bridge across the Mississippi in Louisiana is the John James Audubon Bridge, completed in 2011. It was built to replace a local ferry service between the towns of New Roads and St. Francisville, Louisiana. The bridge carries 4 lanes of Highway 10 between West Feliciana Parish and Point Coupee Parish, along a 2.5-mile structure that tops out over 100 feet above river level. The bridge has the second longest cable stay span in North America at 1,583 feet, and the overall cable stay structure is 3,186 feet. The bridge's 2 pylons are 520 feet tall and house 136 stay cables that support the road deck. The bridge is named for John James Audubon, the famous naturalist and painter who, while residing in nearby St. Francisville, composed much of his painting collection titled The Birds of America, that went on to be published in stages between 1827 and 1839. While the engineering achievements of this bridge are noteworthy, the project has been seen so far by some as a white elephant, due to its high cost, coming in around $410 million, and minimal economic benefit to the surrounding area. As of 2017, the bridge carries the lowest traffic volume of any bridge on the Mississippi in Louisiana, and is among the lightest traveled bridges on the entire river. The next bridge downstream is the Huey P. Long Bridge, connecting East Baton Rouge Parish with West Baton Rouge Parish. It was completed in 1940 as the second bridge across the Mississippi in the state of Louisiana, and it was the first such bridge built in the Baton Rouge area. It is one of 2 bridges named for Huey P. Long, a Louisiana politician who served as the 40th governor of the state from 1928 to 1932, then as U.S. Senator from 1932 until his death by assassination at the state capitol in Baton Rouge on September 10, 1935. One of Governor Long's greatest contributions to the state was his investment in infrastructure, with thousands of miles of paved roads and bridges being built throughout the state in the years during and immediately following his tenure. His administration oversaw the beginning of construction of the bridge at Jefferson Parish that we'll talk about in due course, and the design and construction of this bridge between East and West Baton Rouge parishes was modeled off of that structure further downstream. This bridge is one of 2 crossings in the state that carries both road and rail traffic across the river. The multi-span truss superstructure is around 3,300 feet long, and the overall length of the much longer railroad structure is around 2.5 miles. The other bridge across the river at Baton Rouge is the Horace Wilkinson Bridge, a monstrous cantilever truss bridge opened in 1968. It carries 6 lanes of traffic for Interstate 10 between West Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge. Unusually, the bridge is named for 3 separate people, 3 generations of Horace Wilkinsons who served in the Louisiana State Legislature over a combined period of 54 years. It is the tallest bridge across the river, with its roadway reaching 175 feet at the center of the main span. Altogether, the bridge is nearly 2.5 miles long, and its massive truss superstructure is 4,550 feet long with a center main span of 1,235 feet. Locals will still sometimes refer to this bridge as the New Bridge to distinguish it from the Old Bridge, otherwise known as the Huey P. Long Bridge upstream that we previously talked about. Continuing downstream from Baton Rouge, we come to our next major bridge on the river. Completed in 1964, the Sunshine Bridge was the first bridge built across the river between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. It was conceived as part of a much larger plan to build a toll expressway that would have connected New Orleans with Lafayette, bypassing Baton Rouge altogether. This plan, known as the Acadian Thruway, fell out of favor following the passage of the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956 and the subsequent creation of the I-10 corridor. The bridge is the only part of this plan that came to fruition. The bridge carries 4 lanes of Highway 70 as it connects the town of Donaldsonville in Ascension Parish with US Highway 61 and I-10 on the east bank. The 1.5 long bridge features a central truss structure that is 3,300 feet long, and its longest individual main spans are 825 feet apiece. Its unusual 4-tower, 5-span structure gives the bridge an unmistakable and immediately recognizable appearance. The bridge's name is a nod to music star and politician Jimmy Davis, who served as the 47th governor of Louisiana and was in office at the time of the bridge's construction. Davis rose to fame in 1940 with his hit song "You Are My Sunshine," and after declining an offer to name the bridge in his honor, it was named Sunshine Bridge instead, as a reference to his popular song. So interestingly, we have a bridge here that's named for the title of a song, instead of being named for a person or geographic feature. The newest of the large cantilever bridges across the Mississippi in Louisiana is this crossing, completed in 1995. The Veterans Memorial Bridge was built to replace a local ferry service near the town of Gramercy in St. James Parish on the east bank. While being officially called the Veterans Memorial Bridge, this enormous cantilever truss bridge is sometimes known as the Gramercy Bridge by locals. The center truss span is 1,460 feet, and the main superstructure totals 3,100 feet long. It carries 4 lanes of Highway 3213 and provides quicker access for local traffic from sugarcane farms nearby to US Highway 61 and I-10. Prior to 2008, it was largely a bridge to nowhere because the approach roads on the west bank of the river had not been completed. Even with the recent completion of a connecting road to Highway 3127 in St. John the Baptist Parish, the bridge to nowhere nickname still seems to apply to a degree. Built as the first cable-stayed bridge across the Mississippi, and only the 3rd cable-stayed bridge in the United States at the time of its opening, the Hale Boggs Memorial Bridge was completed in 1983 and connects the towns of Luling and Destrehan in St. Charles Parish. The bridge is part of I-310, and its approach highways were completed in 1993 to connect the crossing with US Highway 90, US 61, and I-10. The central cable-stayed structure is supported by 72 cables, clustered together in groups of either 2 or 4, thus giving the bridge a unique and futuristic appearance. The bridge's pylons are made of weathering steel and stand 400 feet tall. All of this supports the 1,200-foot center span and the overall superstructure length of 2,200 feet. The bridge is named for Louisiana Congressman Hale Boggs, who served in the U.S. House of Representatives for 28 years, beginning in 1941, and from 1947 until his death in a plane crash over Alaska in 1972. At the time of his death, he was House Majority Leader and had previously served on the Warren Commission following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. Among his greatest contributions were his support of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was atypical of most Southern representatives at the time, and the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, which opened the door for modern road transportation in Louisiana and nationwide. Construction of the bridge had only recently begun when, in the early morning of October 20th, 1976, the ferry boat George Prince, carrying 96 passengers between the east and west banks, was rammed and sunk by a passing freighter. 78 people perished that day, and it remains the deadliest ferry disaster in U.S. history. In 2009, a memorial dedicated to the memory of the victims was unveiled in Destrehan, under the East Bank approach to the bridge. The memorial wall lists the names of the 78 lives who were lost. We've now entered the Greater New Orleans region, and with that we reached the Huey P. Long Bridge, completed in 1935 as the first bridge across the Mississippi River in Louisiana. It connects the communities of Elmwood and Bridge City in Jefferson Parish, a few miles west of the New Orleans Central Business District. This bridge is the other crossing in the state named for the aforementioned Governor Huey P. Long. Governor Long's administration oversaw the beginning of construction of this bridge, along with thousands of miles of other road and bridge improvements throughout the state. This bridge is one of two crossings in the state that carries both road and rail traffic across the river. The railroad component of this structure is around 4.5 miles long, including the approaches, making it one of the longest railroad bridges in the world. This bridge is most notable for the massive reconstruction project that was undertaken between 2006 and 2013 that saw the roadways of the bridge be completely replaced and its foundations and truss superstructure expanded to accommodate the wider bridge deck. Prior to this project, the roadways were dangerously narrow. The travel lanes were only 9 feet wide and there were no breakdown areas along the deck. The reconstruction replaced these roadways with modern ones that now contain 3 11-foot wide lanes in each direction, plus breakdown shoulders. And last but not least is the Crescent City Connection, the farthest downstream bridge on the Mississippi River. It was built to connect the central business district of New Orleans with the West Bank suburbs of Gretna and Tarrytown. The crossing consists of 2 distinct and different bridges. The first span was completed in 1958 and was known as the Greater New Orleans Bridge. It carried 2 lanes of traffic each way, plus a center emergency lane. The need for additional highway capacity across the river at New Orleans resulted in the construction of a second span that was completed in 1988 and was built a few hundred feet downstream from the first span. It carries 4 lanes of downtown-bound traffic, plus 2 reversible HOV lanes. Following completion of the second bridge, the first bridge was reconfigured to carry 4 lanes of West Bank-bound traffic. When the second bridge was completed, the crossing was renamed Crescent City Connection, following a public naming contest in 1989. The name was chosen from a long list of curious and at times amusing candidates. The 2 superstructures of these companion bridges are similar, but not identical. The center span of the 1958 original is 1,575 feet, and the 1988 second span is 1,594 feet. Taken separately, they are 2 of the longest cantilever bridges in the world. Carrying a volume of approximately 180,000 vehicles per day, the bridges combine to serve as the single busiest highway crossing of the Mississippi River. Today there are 8 bridges that cross the Mississippi River within Louisiana. But did you know that these are not the only bridges to ever have been proposed across the river? A resolution passed in the Louisiana State Legislature in 2014 authorized a feasibility study for a new bridge across the Mississippi south of Baton Rouge. The study received widespread support from the legislature as traffic congestion along I-10 continues to worsen. Possible locations for this hypothetical new bridge seem to center around the town of Addis in West Baton Rouge Parish, and if built in this area, the bridge could become part of a western extension of I-12, further increasing that highway's importance as a bypass of the large population centers along I-10 in the southern half of the state. In the 1970s, there were plans to construct an outer beltway around the southern fringes of Greater New Orleans. This project, known as I-410, would have required the construction of a new Mississippi River bridge downstream from the Crescent City connection, probably in the area of the town of Chalmette in St. Bernard Parish. The plans for this highway were canceled around 1979, and roads such as I-310 and I-510 are all that remain of this proposal. Every once in a while, though, there are rumblings about possibly reviving the idea of a new bridge across the river in this area. Had the bridge been built in the 1970s, it would have likely been another large cantilever bridge similar in appearance to the Gramercy Bridge. However, if it ever gets built in the future, it would probably take the shape of a large cable-stayed bridge, similar in appearance to the Audubon Bridge, or the concept for a new bridge for I-10 across the Mobile River in Mobile, Alabama. This latter project in Mobile is set to be built in the next few years. And with that, we've come to the end of our tour of the bridges of the Mississippi River in the great state of Louisiana. It's been wonderful being your tour guide and guest host today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, comment below, follow them on Twitter, and be sure to join your regularly scheduled hosts on their next 504 road trip.